Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing you another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Todd McFarlane's original design Batman. And this is the variant version. This version has some different accessories. The original one was a gold label exclusive, and it had goggles. This one has a golden batarang instead, and his knives are in a navy blue instead of gold color. I stumbled across this guy at Target today. Didn't even know these things were out. I had a pre-order Amazon, which I've now canceled. So let's go ahead and take a look at the figure here. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse, Batman. He comes with 2 knives, a batarang, display stand, and a collector's card. One side, you can see Todd McFarlane's signature here. Todd McFarlane designed Batman. Other side simply says Batman. At the bottom, there's a bunch of credits, and there's a barcode in case that helps anybody. On the back, you can see him in the city of Gotham, and here's a bunch of other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures you should check out. So with no further ado, let's open him up. And I did end up getting 2 of these figures, one of which to open and enjoy, and one to keep unopened in my complete 6 and 7 inch unopened Batman action figure collection. And here he is, next to the first release of the Todd McFarlane Batman. As you can see, this one's a gold label exclusive. Also has different knives and goggles instead of a batarang. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He does come with a display stand, a collector's card, 2 large knives or machetes, and a batarang. But before we take a look at the accessories, let's take a look at the actual figure. So this is Todd McFarlane's own personal design of Batman. This is the blue and gray variant versus the black and gray version they made before. Starting with his head here, the cowl looks good. Has this weird sort of upside down horseshoe thing at the top of his forehead. The way his face is sculpted and painted makes him look kind of old. In general, this Batman kind of has a steampunk or post-apocalyptic future look to it. The spikes, the knives, he's been through a lot just trying to survive. Giant bat symbol on his chest. His abs look a little uneven. It's been bothering me. Can't really twist around to fix that. Cape has those points above the shoulders. Classic Batman. Spikes on the hand. Double jointed elbows. Double jointed knees. We've got more knives in the utility belt. Pouches on his leg. Different texturing on the different parts of his suit. It looks very good. Very cool. Little holsters for his knives. I find it kind of interesting that this is Todd McFarlane's first crack at an originally designed Batman figure. I would love to see a figure based off his comic art from the 80s. The blue and gray Batman, the long flowing cape. I expected more of a traditional type Batman. Hopefully, this is the first of what's going to be a long string of Todd McFarlane designed Batman figures. He is really good at making these figures visually pleasing. I just hope we get some more traditional stuff from him. This guy does look good as well, but I do prefer my Batman not to have spikes and knives all over him. I guess at least it's better than a big old giant gun. And look how badly they painted the bat symbol on his belt. Maybe I should have opened the other one. Now let's look at his accessories. Let's start with the display stand. Typical McFarlane stand, black perfect circle. Says DC at the bottom, 1 peg for the peg holes on their feet. It's very thin, very basic. Here's his collector's card. This is art of the figure. I assume this is drawn by Todd McFarlane. You see Batman designed by Todd McFarlane. On the back, a little description of Batman, and then it says how Todd McFarlane used to draw Batman, etc., etc. And this card is 100% identical to the card that came with the black and gray version of this figure. Now let's look at his batarang. This is completely in gold. A couple lines sculpted on the front. This looks to be a unique batarang, not reused from any of McFarlane's previous Batman figures. Here he is holding and getting ready to throw his batarang. Now let's look at his knives. One of them is longer than the other. You can see it's almost like brass knuckles here, little spikes that'll wrap around and protect his knuckle. On the actual knife, It kind of looks like a distorted bat symbol, but maybe I'm just seeing stuff where nothing's actually there. Other knife, pretty much the same thing, just a little bit longer. Here he is holding the two knives, and here he is holstering the two knives. Here are his knives next to the knives that came with the black and gray variant. I will say these new knives are way better detailed. And here are both versions of the Todd McFarlane Batman holding their knives in front of them. And the black and gray version did come with these goggles, and if you wanted to put them on the blue version, you can do that. They fit on him just fine. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, sitting at about 7.2 inches tall, which is going to be a little bit over 18 centimeters. And then if you go to the top of the ears, about 7.5 inches tall. Now let's check out his articulation. Start with his head here. Of course, it can rotate from side to side. Can look up and down about that far, not too bad. Can tilt his head from one side to the other, giving him a nice amount of personality. Shoulders on ball joints, they can go up more than 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest, just increasing the range of motion there. Bicep gut below that. Double jointed elbows below that. His wrists can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. He's got a ball joint in his torso, can rotate around, can also go forward and back. Another ball joint in his waist, can also rotate around, and can also go forward and back, giving him a pretty good range of motion in his torso here. Legs, go about that far. Not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. He does have very nice thigh rotation. Legs go forward about that far. Back, not too much. Double jointed knees below that. Then his ankle here. Go forward and back. Can rotate. Can tilt, rock a little bit. And then he has toe articulation also. Here's this Batman doing research in the Batcave while Alfred is serving him tea. And then he goes and gets into the death metal bat cycle. This Batman looks fantastic on that thing. Here he is driving the death metal bat cycle down the street. And he does look excellent on the death metal bat cycle. He also looks pretty cool on the old Kennard Skywing street bike. Now let's check him out next to some other action figures, starting off with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is next to the first version of the Todd McFarlane Batman. This is a gold label exclusive. It was sold through Walmart.com, and I've seen it at some Walmart stores. It's a black or really dark gray with the rest of the lighter gray suit. Now when I saw this other one at the stores, I was a little confused at first. I thought it was only available at Walmart. Then I looked at it and I thought, oh, this doesn't say gold label. And then I realized it was the blue version, but it's a very dark blue, so the two figures are very similar. The only real differences, besides the obvious accessories, is just really the blue versus the dark gray on the cape, the cowl, the gloves, the boots, etc. And I will point out, on the capes, they seem to be the same, but this one is folded over a lot more than the other release. Not sure which one's right, but one of them is definitely a little bit wrong. I think this one looks a little better. He kind of gives off a similar vibe as his death metal Batman. Maybe it's all the spikes. So this Batman is a variant to the previous Todd McFarlane Batman. Now let's check out a few other variant Batman figures that Todd McFarlane has made. On the left, we've got the original Detective Comics 1000 Batman, and then we've got the light blue and gray variant. And here's both the black and blue variations of the Batman the Animated Series Batman. And they actually made 3 different variations of the Arkham Asylum Batman. We've got the standard release on the far left, then we have the Titan and Muddied Up version, and on the right we have the Chase Bronze Variant Edition. Now there is a difference between a regular variant and a Chase variant. The Chase variant there is limited to just 2,000 pieces and is very hard to come by. This Todd McFarlane Batman is not a Chase variant, just a regular store variant. I actually think the earlier gold label one is going to be the harder one to come by in the long run. And here's the regular and the platinum gold Chase variant of the Arkham Knight Batman. And there is an upcoming Target exclusive red variation of the White Knight Batman. Some people are already finding theirs. I haven't found one yet. And here are all of McFarlane's sort of regular Bruce Wayne as Batman figures they've made. And I guess technically, these guys are all Bruce Wayne as Batman in one way, shape, or form. And here's my entire McFarlane DC Multiverse collection. With all the variants, I've got a total of 62 different figures and 2 vehicles, and I'm not even fully caught up. Some of the figures that people are finding that I haven't come across yet are going to be the Infected Nightwing, the Red White Knight Batman, the Golden Hellbat Batman, and then the Injustice Gorilla Grodd and Injustice Flash. He totally reminds me of this DC Direct Earth 2 Batman. And like I said before, he has a sort of futuristic, steampunk, post-apocalyptic or dystopian future look to him. I think he'd fit in pretty good in the Blade Runner universe with these guys. He also kind of makes me think of the Batman Beyond type world. Here he is with Terry McGinnis in the Batman suit, Terry McGinnis in civilian attire, and his friend Max. And speaking of a post-apocalyptic future Batman, here he is next to several different variations of the Nightmare Batman from Batman vs. Superman and Justice League the Snyder Cut. Now let's check him out next to some action figures from different various companies to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Here he is with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. I'll try to include as many Batman figures as I can during these comparisons. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select Toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles Batman figures. And here, next to some NECA Batman figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And here, next to some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods Batman figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse Batman figures. And here, next to some Mafex Batman figures. Then, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts Batman figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, he's a very cool figure. It's not a traditional Batman, but it's a unique Todd McFarlane's spin on Batman. That alone makes it pretty cool. Although it's not very practical, I won't get a lot of use out of it in different posing and picture scenarios. Still happy to have him. I do think I might prefer this variant over the other one just a little bit. And maybe that's because his accessories are better. His knives are way better than the other one. His battering's pretty good. He is missing the goggles. But between both of them, you've got a pretty nice amount of bat gadgets. This guy moves pretty good. His accessories are good. His sculpt is good. Pretty nice job here. If I were to rate this guy, I'd give him a strong 7.5 out of 10. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you wanted to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.